Because I've got a bit of interest. So those of you who put your name down, I want you over here in a line, lined up, ready to go, because there will be no delay between you. You've got about 2 seconds to get on stage and get going. If you want to use a projector, there's a cable here. If it doesn't go, tough, it comes out of your time. Right, so 90 seconds, that's what you got. Make sure you're ready to go. This is the list. In that order, please. You ready?
Righto, g'day, my name's Stephen Boyd. I'm going to talk to you about Qubes OS. Now, on Monday, B-Dale said something about wanting to have a laptop that you owned and controlled and could do all sorts of things. And this morning, Tim Berners-Lee mentioned the need to keep apps that you don't own, that someone else owns the rights to, isolated. This is a security solution that does it by security by isolation and should achieve that objective. We use Xen virtualization. Every application is in a separate, very slimmed down virtual machine called an app VM. It's got a very cut down version of, in this case, Fedora Linux. We use the window borders to tell you which security domain you're in. So you can have a green one that's work or something and a red one that's the really bad stuff off the internet and so on. And that also translates into other applications in the taskbar and things like that. Cut and paste works. Currently it's in release 1.0 is out there. It's been out since September. Release 2 is in beta 1. The good thing about release 2 is it supports those other funny operating systems by doing full hardware virtualization. It's all open source, but you'll have to go and look at qubes.os.org to find more. Thank you.
Hi guys, who thinks this LCA was awesome? Okay. Sadly, it's pretty much over now. So let's see if I can do this because my LCA, Linux Australia does other things. LCA was awesome, but it runs other conferences too. PyCon, July, has mini-conference and sprints. WordCamp happened in Sydney and Melbourne. They'll happen again soon. You missed Drupal Day. Joomla Day, sorry. Things that are not Linux Australia but are cool anyway. Barcamp, DrupalCon Sydney, used to be a Linux Australia thing. OSDC, why not try starting your own? There's heaps of different things you can do. You should also join a Linux user group. There's one in Sydney, Canberra, Perth. There are 2 in Victoria because they're greedy. And you should also join a hackerspace. There are lots in other places. Go to this page if you want more. Join Linux Australia, you should really do so. Do you have a blog? planet.linux.org.au. We need you to make Linux Australia awesome.
Who's next? Oh, jeez, guys. Window. Steve Dalton.
I have no slides because that would be a total disaster. Right, since I last attended an LCA, I've been pretty busy. I started a hackerspace on the Gold Coast. I applied for a grant at Linux Australia for some equipment when we first started. And a journalist wrote about us and actually wrote an article entitled Linux Australia Rejects Fund Requests from Gold Coast. I won't say who that journalist is. But the funding... Okay, come on. So the funding was actually approved and he didn't actually write a story about that, so, which is funny that, hey? So I thought I'd get up here and tell you about what happened. We got $2,000 from Linux Australia. We bought we were going to buy off-the-shelf PCs, but we thought, no, let's buy some PCs in parts and get everyone to build them. We built 3 PCs, 6 monitors, got whole lot of Raspberry Pis. We set up an open source learning lab. We use it for Arduino workshops. We do FreeCAD, OpenSCAD training. We use it at a general Linux playground with the kids. They learn Scratch. And we also use the computers on Saturdays for a Minecraft workshop, a Minecraft LAN party. And the kids absolutely love it, and it's got them into Linux, and they're all starting to try and learn Shell now. And we even have one 12-year-old kid administering our Minecraft server, which has been donated to Spy Rackspace. So I have to thank them too. So thank you, everyone. Come and see us on the Gold Coast.
Jeremy.
Hi everyone, I'm Jeremy Visser and I wrote a program called Python iView, which lets you export videos, iView videos, to any device. For those non-Aussies, ABC iView is basically the equivalent of BBC iPlayer, and Python iView is basically the equivalent of Get iPlayer. Now, Python iView got taken down by the ABC last August. The legal arguments they used would best be described as a bit contentious, but who am I to argue with a lawyer? The purpose of me standing here is to give a special thanks to the people here, because most of the people who helped me maintain Python iView over the last 3 years are the people in this very room. That includes my users, people who wrote patches, and people who spent hours with me on IRC debugging issues. Thank you so much to all of you. You all know who you are. Python iView is something that belonged to all of us, and unfortunately it's been taken away. If this issue is important to you, please write about DRM and copyright reform in your next letter to your MP. I look forward to a day where we can watch content on any open platform requiring nothing more than free software. Happy hacking, and see you all in Broome.
Joel Stanley. Ashish. Okay.
So I've noticed that a number of people presented using PDFs, which is awesome. I also noticed that a number of people presented using events or similar standard PDF readers with a presentation mode. That's much less awesome. So I'd like to tell you about a better alternative as soon as this shows up. Excellent. This is PDF Presenter Console. I highly recommend it. These are the two screens it shows. This screen on the upper left shows up on the external monitor. It just shows the slide. The screen on the lower right here shows what you will see on your internal laptop display, just like the fancy stuff you'd get with PowerPoint or LibreOffice, but with much more awesome PDFs. So it tells you how much time you have left. So as I'm advancing through slides, it starts counting down. So it tells me, oh no, I've got 2 of 45 slides and I have 55 seconds. Good thing I'm not actually presenting this talk again. So, and if you're like me and you use incremental overlays, it shows you each of the overlays as you're going to present them and what the next slide will be. So you can prepare and smoothly transition rather than awkwardly pausing in between slides. And it has a number of other nice features. You can tell it how long you want to go. It will give you warnings when you have a certain amount of time left. It can present notes to you, all sorts of things you did not expect to be able to do with PDFs. So if this looks interesting, it's available in Debian, apt-get install PDF Presenter Console. It's available in a number of other distributions.
Hi, everyone. But I just need to hit apply. Right. Okay, hi. My name's Ashish. I will finish fiddling with this later. I wanted to tell you guys about effective outreach and how to bring diversity to free software projects, preferably almost by accident. So I'm a Debian developer, but my main thing is I'm the executive director of a nonprofit called OpenHatch. We help people get involved in free software projects. Here's some things we've done. In 2010, we ran a How to Get Involved workshop at the University of Pennsylvania. 30% of our applicants were women, and we didn't do any diversity-oriented outreach, and we did that just by writing a really friendly email about what the event was. In December, we ran a How to Get Involved in Pandas workshop, which is a Python stats package. 17% women, because we reached out to PyLadies NYC. We've also been organizing very gender diversity-oriented programming workshops that have been cloned all over the world. So you should go to openhatch.org and go to contact and sign up for our mailing list and run an event and affiliate it with us, and we'll help you make diversity happen. And I will try.
Go. Well, I was going to use Ashish's machine, but that's not working. So after Tim Berners-Lee spoke about the web this morning, he said there's a problem with payment on the web. And I find there's a fundamental problem that distribution and payment are conflated. The internet is really good at distribution, really crap at payment. And I have an idea. So let's say you have a thing. Let's say this thing. Oh, great.
Right and left.
Let's say you have a thing, and let's say this thing is a digital thing. It's some sort of music or anything else. And I don't remember where I got it, but I want to pay for it. And I want to support the artist, but how do I do it? And thus begins a trek to try and find out who wrote it, who owns it, how do I pay for it, can I pay for it, can I even buy it here, and whatever, I'm done. I have about 10 seconds of attention span for that, because digital content is ultimately a tip jar system. So here's a system I want to build to fix it, or somebody. Let's say you're a digital artist, and we are all digital artists. Oh, birthday cakes. What? For simplicity's sake, we'll talk about digital artists. You made an MP3, you want to sell your digital thing. You speak to a notary in the system. You say, I own this thing, and they go, yes, you own that thing. We take a checksum of it, and then a user finds it, and they go, hey, I want to pay for this thing. Your system takes a checksum, queries our system, and says, hey, I know that, who owns this, and how much they want for it. And I'm out of time, sorry.
Where's the plugger in it?
Thanks.
Okay. Hey, so I noticed a common theme during the continuous integration mini-conf, and that was that Jenkins configuration sucks, and everyone is using separate tools, and they've got their configuration stored elsewhere, and they just convert it into Jenkins jobs with a man in the middle. So I don't like Jenkins. It's huge and it's monolithic and it's resource hungry and just not very Unixy at all. So I would like to introduce the ghastly alternative, Igor CI. And the slides are not working. So I'll just talk about it. Igor stores all of its build specifications in Git, and it stores all of its build reports in Git. And if you're building a Git repository, it will link everything together and give you a nice switching yard graph, so you can see, okay, well, this was built with this version of the build specification, and we can see it passed or failed. You can diff the transcripts, you can diff the environment. Very handy for just drilling quickly down into seeing, oh, okay, the build failed. Show me the differences in the transcript between the failed job and the last successful job. There's a whole lot of open problems. It's very new. I pushed it up to GitHub at about 2 AM this morning. So yeah, feel free to go and check it out. It's at github.com/FraserTweedale, one word, /Igor-CI. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Paul. I'm giving 2 talks right now because I'm completely insane. Give me just 1 second to plug this in. Are we all enjoying the conference? Yes, excellent. Okay, cool. So does that work? Hell yes, it does. And there's a big black screen. Yes, okay, excellent. Hello, developers. Okay, look at me. Now look at your browser. Now back to me. Now back to your editor. Sadly, your editor isn't Vim. But if you stopped using the mouse and switched to Vimperator, it could smell like Vim. Look down, back up. Oh crap, there's no shoot. Look down, back up. This would have worked, but shit, it's not. Okay, so you're on Wikipedia with the editor that your browser could smell like. What, that's in your muscle memory? Back at me, I have it. It's keyboard shortcuts for all those commands you love. Look again, the commands have tab completion, which you cannot see, but anything is possible when your browser smells like Vim. I'm on a horse, and now I'm running to my second talk, which I'm doing in 20 seconds. On depression, which is like just as much fun. So I made a sandwich. It was amazing. It had all these things in it which I can't tell you about. I had zero enjoyment. I had anhedonia, which is the inability to experience pleasure. I had a depressive episode, and I had these things, and like those were all of the symptoms which I had. So, go and use Blue Hackers. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul, for that. That won't make this any harder at all. I'm a system administrator. Sometimes I want to know if servers are up or down, so I ping them. Unfortunately, ping doesn't scale very well when you have a little screen like this. You can only get so many terminals on your little screen. So I wrote a utility that would ping servers for me and tell me if they're all up and show me in one terminal with maybe, several lines about several servers. It's a simple, single Python script. You can get it from Bitbucket. If you search for ping board, you will find it. There's only one hit at the moment. If you like it, help yourself out.
Hello, I'm talking about GNOME OS, something that you might have heard because you read LWN. So the question right after that is, have the GNOME developers gone mad? The answer is incorrect. It is no. But I know you knew that I would say just that. So GNOME OS is an unfortunate name. It's not a new distro, which it's 2013. It would be, quite frankly, quite stupid. In reality, it's called Testable. It's done using OS3, which is like Git for file systems, and OST build, which is a build bot. It builds the whole OS minus the applications, and it does that to do continuous integration, so every Git commit, it builds the entire operating system. It will be used in the future for QA, and probably for an SDK for GNOME applications and other stuff. You can read more about it on the wiki page, which is on live.gnome.org, and you can join the testable channel on irc.gnome.org. Or you can even join a mailing list if you're so inclined. That is called GNOME OS List. That's it.
Hi, I want to tell you about my nephew Max. He's a 7-year-old boy, and you're not going to get any pretty photos. Okay, he's 7 years old, most boys his age. He loves running around, makes as much noise as he possibly can, and is completely self-absorbed, particularly with bodily functions. Now, our family didn't know anything about cystic fibrosis until he was born. He was diagnosed at birth. At the moment, his life expectancy, if he reaches 40, he's doing really well. Now, there's the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation itself that's raising money. Part of that is what's called the 65 Roses Foundation. I can't tell a story about how that came about without crying, because it's a really tearjerker of a story. But if you say cystic fibrosis enough times at a small child, you get the idea. The thing is, these foundations don't need our tears. What they want is our money. That money goes towards helping to find quite possibly a cure, looking after these children and supporting their families. Because not only is cystic fibrosis in itself a killer, having a child with cystic fibrosis can actually tear your family apart. Thank you.
How do computers work? Right. I've got plenty of time, don't worry about it. Okay, I think that'll work. Hi, I'm Angus, otherwise known as Gus, or whatever name you want to call me. So that doesn't work, it's going to be really dull. So anyway, I spend about 10 hours a week on a train, commuting to and from work. Does that actually work at all? Anyway, this is going to be really dull then. Okay. So ScumVM's a program that lets you do point-and-click adventure games, King's Quest, Maniac Mansion, those sorts of things. And I found I have a problem, it doesn't run in my browser. And so I looked around and looked at native client for Chrome and thought, that's too easy, I can't use that. So that would just like doing another SDL port. So instead I went and wrote an LLVM interpreter in JavaScript. It's got threading, preemptive threads. It runs in slightly faster than real time. It all works. It consumes only slightly less RAM than a Gmail tab. And now I don't know what to do with it, but it works anyway, so I can show you, and I'll be playing it right here. I'm playing it on the inside right here, right now. You can come and find me afterwards if you want me to show it to you. Anyway, thanks.
I'm here to tell you the future is bright, and this is why I'm wearing shades. Actually, it's because I can't see without them. I got involved in this really interesting thing. It's called Bitcoin. Digital currencies, if you don't know about them, understand them, get to know them, they are the future. We are doing this really cool thing in Vienna this year. It's called unsystem.net. Check it out on the web, have a look at the people there. We've got people like Brigitte Jorgensen, we've got RMS, we've got the Rap News guys from Melbourne, various other people there. What are we trying to do with this thing? Well, let's face it, the system is broken, okay? We need to create a new one. So what we're trying to achieve at this conference is get a bunch of futurists together, a bunch of people in various different areas to come together and talk about what the future can be. Now, everybody talks about, okay, so we can slap this new policy on here, we can slap this new organisation there, we can slap this other new thing there, but let's face it, free market isn't working, the economy isn't working, these things are broken, let's get in and try them, fix them. If we get enough of us together and if we start talking about this, I believe we can make a difference. We had a write-up in Vice that basically said they'd never seen as many anarchists in a per square metre mile. So check it out, come along. If you want to get involved or anything, let me know. But let's get upgrade system.
We're doing pretty good for time, so if you want to jump on the into queue, feel free.
So I'm going to try and connect this, and hopefully this gets detected straight away. Oh, it's going well, it's going well. Oh, yes! Hello there! Yes, so you probably already know, given we've already announced it, PyCon Australia is running this year in the first weekend of July. It's now with 50% more days. Yes, we've gone from one weekend to starting on a Friday. So it's in Hobart. It's on July the 5th through the 7th. That's Friday to a Sunday. We're presenting the first DjangoCon AU on the Friday, so if you develop in Django, that's really cool. There'll be lots of Django that day. We'll also be doing OpenStack on that day, so if you're an OpenStack person who does stuff with Python, we'd really love to see you get along. Our usual development sprints are on the Monday and Tuesday afterwards. Right, so some timelines. We'll be calling for papers at the end of this month. We want to hear from as many Python developers in Australia and around the world as possible. Registrations probably towards the end of March. But right now, if there's something that you want to see at PyCon AU, we really want you to submit a topic suggestion. There's a link off our homepage at the moment. So yeah, get along to it. We want to see as many of you down in Hobart in July as possible. Thank you.
So I imagine I'm not alone here in having a laptop here. There's not many desktops that I see here, but I imagine that a lot of us here have a desktop with a keyboard at home, and we use that for a GUI. We know how that works. You sit there and type, and you reach for the mouse, because we're right-handed, right? Except you don't reach for the mouse, you reach past all this stuff on the keyboard that you don't care about. What if, and the other side of reaching for the mouse is there's these nice keys that you use on the left hand, Alt-Tab, Alt-F4, probably Control-Q, Control-X. That seems very left-handed, mouse is right-handed. Great. Use your mouse left-handed, and it gets a bit awkward. It's not so much fun. I should say, mousing left-handed is fantastic. I advocate it. I am right-handed. You're not reaching past all this horrible. It gets rid of a whole bunch of strain. All that RSI that you're getting in your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders goes away. Don't make sure you do swap the mouse buttons. I moused left-handed with the wrong buttons for 10 years, and yeah, not good. So, what I want, this is the crux of the talk, mousing left-handed, navigation keys here, that's fantastic. What I'd like to see is some GUI designers to come up with a standard set of hotkeys for Alt tabs, Alt backslash, I think is common. I use Alt backspace for closing windows. I keep Alt F4 for kill. It makes navigating really nice. Alt down arrow, Alt up arrow, raise and lowers windows in the stack. That's fantastic with sloppy mouth focus.
So, here's the problem. You've just written the most awesome patch in the world. It's going to improve all the things. How do you know if it actually did or not? The usual solution, run once before, run once after, compare the two numbers. You all know this is wrong. So instead you run it 5 times and you compare the averages. And then you start thinking about standard deviations, and pretty soon you have 1 million Wikipedia tabs open. Stop it. Use Ministat. It's a little program from FreeBSD, single C file, you delete 2 lines of code and it compiles on Linux, takes 2 sets of numbers and gets you stats. But, how do you know how many times to run? You run 5 times and you don't get results. Do you run more times? You don't know what to do. So, grab this little script here, it's called compareperf. It takes 3 arguments, one that prints a number, one that sets up the before environment, one that sets up the after environment, then you go to bed. Or get coffee, or, I don't know, sword fight on wheelie chairs. When you decide to stop taking numbers, you hit Control-C and you're done. Put it in your commit message and go home.
Thank you. Let's see if this works. Hi, my name is John Lawrence. I am from Electronic Frontiers Australia. Many of you will know of us. Thank you. Some of you, I hope, will even be members. We've been fighting for civil liberties in the digital space in Australia since 1994. We're very active at the moment in the copyright space. There's a copyright review going on that some of you may be aware of, but today I'd like to talk to you about data retention and the other surveillance proposals that are before Parliament at the moment. Tim Berners-Lee spoke about them this morning. He's described them as dangerous as dynamite and as difficult to secure as nuclear waste. These are really serious issues and we are launching a campaign against them. We believe they have genuine risks to the civil liberties and privacy and free speech of all Australians. We think they are akin to treating us all as suspects, not citizens. So we've launched our campaign under the slogan, Citizens Not Suspects. You can come and see us at citizensnotsuspects.org.au. You can follow us on Twitter at NotSuspects. If you'd like to sign up, get involved, support, just pay attention to what's going on. We'll be making a lot of noise about this through the year, through the election and beyond, because these are proposals that do not come from the politicians, they come from the bureaucracy, and we need to continue to fight them. So please come along and support us. Thank you very much.
Afternoon, everyone. How are you going? Just a quick update from way back in LCA 2012 Ballarat. When you signed up back then, we had this little option on there where you could sign up and opt in to have a tree planted in your local area by 15 trees. Now, the end result had 122 people, so 122 trees got planted at 3 places. All the trees planted will help with the native flora, to the birds and animals that will stop by. Because we love hearing our birds in the morning, don't we? Yes. So thanks to a rainy autumn and, well, typical Ballarat weather, they're thriving already and growing pretty well. You can see them here. So this year the option was to have the trees planted again, so thanks everyone for that. And I'd just like to thank Sarah and the rest of the organisers here, Colleen 15 Trees, for helping us with our carbon footprint in this neat way. How long do I have left, by the way? 20, oh, I should look at that. This is my little gadget for typing stuff. I've been reading you guys on IRC and there's not much replies, but thank you everyone.
Hi, I'm here to talk to you all about something I've been involved in lately called Open Tech School. I'm pretty new to it, so it's probably good that it's only a 90-second talk. I don't know that much. But Open Tech School is basically a community of people who are interested in running short courses for people who are new to technology. So they've done things like Arduino courses, Introduction to Programming with JavaScript in the browser. There's been a few other courses like Git, social coding for people who haven't used Git, Django courses, things like that. These are the kind of community courses people have been running forever, but Open Tech School is kind of trying to cut down on a lot of the duplication and the unnecessary effort when you run a course. I've run a course before, it's a lot of effort. So part of the goal is to, everything is free as in beer, so the courses are always free. Everything is also free as in speech, so all the courses are plain text, markdown, RST type things on GitHub, so if you want to run your own course, find something that's close and fork it and change the content and things like that. They've also got a really strong focus on being inclusive and friendly and a goal to bring in people who aren't used to those sorts of things and empowering. And it's been running in Berlin and Stockholm for about 4 years, and it started running in Melbourne. So if you're interested in being a coach, rather than, there's no sort of central teacher, there's a bunch of coaches in a room. There's a Learn to Program with Python course coming up at the end of February, and you can check out opentechschool.org or OTSAU, or maybe even think if you're interested in starting your own chapter of Open Tech School, it's all kind of designed, or they're aiming so that you can fork out from there.
Hi, I'm Simon. I'm here to talk about Ops Camp in Conf in Auckland. It's a conference I'm planning for late 2013, September, October, something like that. What the idea is to have a one-day over a weekend, probably a Saturday, maybe a Sunday, and it'd be a one-day casual bar camp or mini-conf level conference, free to entry hopefully, or $10, $20, something like that. And the idea is it's for sysadmins, network admins, writers of monitoring software that doesn't suck, if they exist, people like that. Right now I'm in very early planning stages. I'm especially keen if someone can find me a place to have the conference, like your lunchroom somewhere in central Auckland would be really cool. Even if it only holds 50 or 100 people, if people are interested in sponsoring, attending, speaking, have cool ideas, or can suggest venues, it'd be really great to talk to you. Thank you. Oh. And I got 23 seconds. I did a post to the conference chat mailing list with some more details on my contact stuff, so that's probably the best way to find me.
G'day, I'm Andrew Vanderstock. I've written the OS Developer Guide and the responsible for the OS Top 10 2007, which is in PCI DSS. What I want to talk to you today about is fixing, because it's Turbo Talks and you've got to do things really short, I want to fix up snippets. How many people are responsible for writing snippets here? Well, I've got to tell you, they're all dire. Please stop cutting and pasting them. And if you have to write them, please put some security in. If you need help, come and see us at owasp.org. We basically help with web application security. So if you're in that field or application security, come by. If you need help writing good quality snippets, please come and help us. But if you're a coder, please don't cut and paste snippets. They're almost always wrong. Thank you.
Looks like that's it. Anyone else? Miguel. Oh, okay, let's have Paul up again.
Well, how many talks do you want? I've got like 3 or 4 I can do. Okay, so...
How long do you want them for?
You're lovely people.
You've got 4 minutes.
I've got 4 minutes. Oh wow, I can do at least 2 talks. So let's try this. Let's not start on the last slide. Okay. Hi everyone. So this is what I was trying to talk to you about with depression before. For those of you who don't know, last year I made a sandwich, and that was a big deal for me because this was a sandwich which was made with like amazing bread and like fresh hummus, and there was cheese in there, and there was like slow roasted vegetables and like white wine and chicken stock and like super fresh like salad ingredients. And I ate this sandwich and I had absolutely zero enjoyment, none whatsoever. Now, for those of you who don't know what this is, there's a technical term for it. It's called anhedonia. It is the inability to experience pleasure. And this kind of tipped me off that I might have been experiencing a depressive episode. I might have been experiencing something that wasn't all that good. And so, of course, I do what everyone does when they encounter this. I went and I checked the manual, and I looked up the clinical definition in the DSM-4. DSM-4 says that if you have a depressive episode, there's all these things. You have to have at least 5. I had a lot more than 5 of these things which I was experiencing. So one of the big questions for me was, am I getting better? Because I am likely to try and weasel my way out of this. I'm going to say, oh no, I'm just not feeling very good this week. And despite the fact that I haven't been feeling very good this week for the last 12 weeks, I still go, oh no, I'll feel better next week. And this can help push me into getting help. So things which I have found useful, you may not, but certainly for me in the self-quantification sort of area, there's this wonderful thing called Moodscope. Moodscope lets you graph what your mood is every day, and it lets you draw these beautiful graphs and everything. It has a really shitty interface, but if you know how to do web scraping and you can work with JSON, the interface gets way better. So one of the great things about Moodscope is that it lets you have buddies, and it will email your buddies to say, Paul's score for today is this. And that's really useful for me, because if I've kind of dropped down to around about the 50% mark, I'm having not a very good time, but I won't tell people about it. Here I'll have friends who actually say, hey Paul, what's going on? And I'll go, oh, I dropped some diamonds into a lava in Minecraft, or whatever. So the other thing which I found really useful is a website called Patients Like Me. Now, this doesn't work just for depression. This works for any sort of medical conditions you want to track. It's really, really good at tracking symptoms. Here's my graph. You can see all these things which I'm tracking, and my mood is at the top and everything. There's one point there where you can see that I stopped tracking things. That's because I wanted to purchase Skyrim. The other thing which I want to mention is FOSS community support. Hopefully you're all aware of bluehackers.org. Blue Hackers is a wonderful community within the open source movement, and I actually posted up there recently about my experiences with depression. And certainly one thing which I found very interesting was a lecture by Robert Sapolsky. If you go to bluehackers.org, there's a link on there talking about how the brain works in terms of depression. And he actually makes this wonderful quote of asking somebody to give up depression is like asking somebody who's diabetic to give up insulin. So depression is common, and you are not alone. Thank you very much. Do you want another talk? Okay, I may not be able to do this in 45 seconds, but I'll try. So there's this thing called Foursquare, and you can join up, and it doesn't need email, and it doesn't check to see if you're a human, so you can mint Foursquare accounts like crazy. And then what you do is you go to this URL, and there's like this little tool you can do, and you authorize it and everything, and it lets you push stuff in, and you get back to closest JSON. So what you do is you want to track somebody. So what you do is you go here, where am I going to? Oh yeah, things that will tell you is like people's phone numbers, for example. If you look up a person, it tells you their phone number and their email address, their Twitter handle, and like who follows them, and all these things which you can follow and everything. So here's Matt, he's my friend, I'm going to track him and everything. He's not actually my friend right now, but if I go and look to see what I can get from here, you can see that even when he's not my friend, I can get his name and everything, but more importantly, I can get out his Twitter ID and I can get his Facebook handle. So even if there's somebody, I know I'm going to keep on going, so even if there's a completely random person out there on Foursquare, like somebody checked into the cafe and you recognize them, you can go who they are on Facebook. Oh my goodness, that's a little bit too much in terms of public information. So what you can do is you can stalk someone using this. Please don't. You can take their phone number. I have code up on GitHub which does this, but don't use it, it's evil. So you can take their phone number, you can go to Foursquare, you can find out their Twitter and Facebook handle. So what else you can do? There's this here now endpoint and everything. It provides you a count of how many people are at a given venue and blah, 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 blah. So here's Matt and here's all his friends and everything. I want to track Matt. So what I do is I go to all of his friends and I request them all to be my friends so I can track him indirectly. And within 20 seconds, someone in Hong Kong says yes. So blah, 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 blah. You end up with really creepy apps, and I've got to go now and thank you.
All right, thanks guys. Michael, round of applause for Michael.